and welcome to Friday Finds with Rob Meyer-Kukan.
Hello, and thank you once again for joining me on Friday Finds. My name is Rob Meyer-Kukan of the Healthy Musician Institute in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I'm so happy to have on the show today Jenny Cauhorn, who is the Executive Director of the Handbell Musicians of America. Hello, Jenny. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Rob?
I'm doing great. Thanks again for joining me today. And let's get started by having you tell us just a little bit about who you are.
Well, as you said, I'm the Executive Director for Handbell Musicians of America. I've been involved with handbells as a ringer and director since, 1989. So it's been a while, almost 30 years. Oh my gosh. And I have
When did the 80s become a milestone, right?
I know. It's like, that just seems not fair.
Just like yesterday, but right. I'm sorry. So you were saying.
I have a Bachelor of Music in Flute Performance, and in my career, I have worked in the entertainment industry, in some aspect of the entertainment industry, both for-profit and non-profit, from the time I graduated from high school. So I've done everything from box office management in arenas and amphitheaters, to working for pro sports, to doing the Olympics, to working for orchestras and ballet theater, and not big outdoor festivals, and now Handbell Musicians of America.
Excellent. Awesome. And you also are currently a director?
I am. I'm the music director for the Queen City Bronze, which is Cincinnati's auditioned handbell ensemble.
Beautiful.
And we had our first rehearsal yesterday. We've got a lot of fun ahead.
Awesome. Great. So tell us about the Handbell Musicians of America. What is the Handbell Musicians of America? How did it come to be? And what is it all about today?
Well, Handbell Musicians of America was formed was established in 1954 as the American Guild of English Handbell Ringers. It came out of the New England Guild of English Handbell Ringers, which was founded by Margaret Shirtcliffe, who was the first American ringer to be given a full ring of handbells by the British. She was an expert. She was given a Whitechapel set, brought it to the United States, and started ringing with her family and friends in Ipswich, Massachusetts, and they would ring at Christmas time and ring carols at Castle Hill. And eventually that led to the founding of the New England Guild, and then it started to spread all through the country through churches primarily. So then that developed into into the American Guild of English Handbell Ringers. And then in 2010, we rebranded ourselves and became Handbell Musicians of America. The organization is, our mission is to further the art of handbell and hand chime ringing and make it more accessible to musicians at all levels and in all venues. We want to reach educators, church musicians, community, those special populations, any special needs populations, and we've been successful in bringing handbells into all of those venues. Our membership are primarily church organizations. We also have some schools and community organizations. Actually, our greatest area of growth are in community handbell ensembles. We also have a lot of individual ringers, composers, and arrangers. The Handbell Industry Council, which represents publishers, retailers, handbell manufacturers of any other handbell equipment, handbell-related equipment. We also have a couple of travel companies, travel and tour companies that help guide tours, handbell tours around the world. And it's just, we offer a wide range of benefits to our membership, anything from online resources to help you start a program in your church. We offer curriculum ideas for schools. We offer details on how to establish a community choir, how to get your nonprofit status, on things like auditions and how to assign bells and handbell techniques. We publish about 20 titles of music every year. We also have a journal that comes out quarterly called Overtones, which is, I'm very proud of. I think it's one of the best professional journals out there. We have an excellent publications director who really works hard to make that a quality publication. We produce events every year. We do 4 national events. That's our national seminar, which is coming up in July in Grand Rapids, Michigan, coming right to your backyard, Rob. And then we also do 2 distinctly bronze events, which are advanced ringing events, and the college ring-in, which is an event targeting college-age kids. Around the national seminar, we also have Distinctly Teen, which is exactly what it says, an event for teens, 13 to 18, and and then our masterclass, which is focused training in conducting and composition. So that's just sort of the real quick down and dirty rundown of the things that we offer.
Awesome. Very cool. So the Handbell Musicians of America is the professional organization for those who love all things handbells.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned that I have said from the very beginnings of my membership in the Guild is about the overtones, about the journal. And I want to just echo what you said. I have always said that even if you just get your membership for the magazine, it's worth it. And it is something to be, really proud of. And it's something that I'm really proud of, to be able to share with my ringers and the ringers that I work with. And so I'm
Yeah,
just
well, and
glad to hear that.
it's now a fully integrated online journal as well. So you can get the paper hard copy magazine, but then you also can access the online version, which has some additional content over and above what we're able to do in print.
That's really cool. Awesome. So some really amazing strides in technology as well.
Yes, I've been executive director in almost 12 years. It's been 11 and a half years now.
Wow.
And I think one of my biggest goals when I came in, I think you could go back to the board that hired me and the presentation I made to that board as part of my final interview was how I wanted to bring this organization up to date technologically. Because when I started, they barely had a website. And we were still doing paper registration forms for event registrations. We were,
Wow.
and they had just started like online renewals, but it was very cumbersome process to have to go through. So I've worked really hard, and we've been through, I think, three redesigns of our website. We've implemented a whole new customer service management or customer management system database that does our event registrations and membership and donations. We've we've have the whole Virtual Bell Academy now, which you've been part of, and we offer some great classes through that, so that we're reaching people, not just those that are able to actually come physically to our events, but that can just join us through the website. And for the first time last year from Anaheim, we live streamed all of our concerts.
Yeah, that was a really cool feature, and I think that it really helped just to sort of increase the awareness for the people who weren't able to be there.
Well, and I think it's had an impact on our attendance too. Our national seminar that's coming up in Grand Rapids, we had a pre-registration back in August and September, so people had the opportunity to sort of lock in a lower rate, and we had double the number of people we normally have pre-register. And then of that group could start registering for their final registration last Thursday, and we're already at almost 100 people registered, which is last year at this time we had about 40. So we're seeing more than double already the interest in the Grand Rapids National Seminar. So I think we're going to have a great event up there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I wondered how just the extra awareness of having that available would impact the event. So
Yeah, it's
sounds
hard to
like,
say that that's the
sure.
that's the reason, but I think it helped for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Excellent. Um, Tell me what you see as, I don't think I sent you this question in advance, so forgive me.
That's okay.
Tell me, what do you think is the most exciting thing in handbells that's on the horizon?
Well, I think one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize about handbells, I think many feel that it's a very traditional instrument that's been around forever, but in fact it's really very young in when you consider music history as a whole. And handbells, tune ringing in handbells didn't start until the 1800s, which is very late in the history of music. And so we're really on the sort of on the cutting edge of all the things that can be possible with this instrument. We've got some really creative people out there who are really pushing the envelope and stretching what is possible with the instrument, not only with techniques, but the type of music that's being written. We had, in Rochester 2 years ago at our national seminar, we had the Forte Handbell Quartet. For the first time, we saw bowed hand chimes, and it was the coolest thing. And then yesterday, I put a piece of music in front of my choir that called for bowed hand chimes. So
Nice.
we're trying to figure all these things out, and there's so much experimentation going on, and so much that's possible with this instrument. You wouldn't think that with, here's this bell on a stick, with a clapper in there, but when you put 7 octaves of handbells in the hands of talented and trained musicians, it's just amazing the things that can be produced. And I think we're just scratching the surface of what we can do with this instrument. And so I hope people will stick with us as we keep growing those options and stretching that envelope more and more. And we try to do that every year with National Seminar, to bring in something new that we haven't seen before, and so that we can start to introduce it to the larger community.
That's cool. It's interesting that you say that, because I had on a previous episode of this show at the beginning of February, a really cool conversation with 3 handbell composers, Matt Compton, Sandy Ethan, and Catherine McMichael. And when I asked them a similar question, their answer was very similar to yours, about just the creative and interesting things that stretch the art form, that is starting to be seen coming out of the woodwork. And Matt talked specifically about the amazing things that comes out of the repertoire reading session that happens at the college ring-in. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely a highlight of that event, to have those young composers be able to have their music read by their peers, and then have experienced editors and publishers there to give their feedback. It's one of the best things about that event, I think.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you mentioned the Guild has a website.
Yes, it
So
does.
what is the website for the Guild if people would like to find out more?
It's handbellmusicians.org.
Excellent. And if people would like to reach out and get more info or to chat with you, how do people get in contact with you?
You can call the national office and reach out to me that way, which is 937-438-0085. Or actually, the best and quickest way to reach me is email, and that's jcauhorn@handbellmusicians.org.
Excellent. I will make sure that all of that information, the web address and Jenny's contact info, is in the show notes or the comments below if you're watching on social media, or the video description if you're watching on YouTube. So that will be there. This is her professional contact information, not to be used for...
Well, contact me for whatever you want to.
Right.
Yeah. I know a lot of people try to contact me through Facebook, and that's not the way to reach me. I'm on Facebook, but that's my personal stuff. Occasionally I do post things about what's happening with the Guild, but I really, Facebook is not the way to contact me. Contact me on my email address, and that's that you're going to get me a lot faster that way. You can also follow us on our Facebook page too, which is just it's just Handbell Musicians. So is the Facebook page.
Excellent. So we'll make sure that all that info is available for those who are watching. Excellent. So I like to end my interviews by asking my guests to give us some words of wisdom, and I ask my guests to share the best piece of advice they were ever given, whether it's serious or silly, and it can be related to what we're talking to or completely off the wall. So Jenny, would you share with us some words of wisdom?
Well, I would say that probably the best advice I ever had just for life was from David Davidson, who anyone in the handbell world who's been in the handbell world for a while knows David. We lost David in 2009, and it was a huge loss for the handbell community. And he was I was in his choir, the Dallas Handbell Ensemble, that he conducted for many years when I lived in Dallas. And David did the keynote speech at the 2008 National Seminar. And in that keynote, he talked about finding the balance between settlers and pioneers. and you have to decide which you're going to be, if you're going to be a pioneer or a settler. And not that there's anything wrong with being a settler, and then pioneers, and while you might initially think pioneers are great, you also have to take care of the settlers. So as you're breaking new ground and pushing things forward, you have to care for those that have established the traditions that that have brought you where you are today. And so I always try to keep that in mind as I make decisions about my own life, but then also as we look at the future of this organization, is giving respect to those who got us to where we are today, but also making sure that we're current and relevant and cutting edge as much as we can be.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That keynote address was at my very first national event that I ever attended.
Oh wow, in Orlando, so you were there.
Yeah. So that's those are wonderful words to carry on and to continue. So.
Yeah, well, and that was how David lived his life. So it was just one of those things that I learned many things from that man, but that's one that I always remember.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you again, Jenny, for being my guest today. If you are watching this and you liked the content, give it the good old thumbs up. Do me a favor and click that subscribe button so you can subscribe to my channel. Make a comment below if you are a handbell musician, whether it is in a church or a school, a community group, whether you are working for the very first time with handbells or you've been playing for a long time. Make a comment and let us know about your involvement with the Handbell Musicians of America. And if you need more information about that group, check out the information below on how to get in contact with the Guild and take advantage of some of the really awesome offerings that they have. So if you're watching on Friday, have an awesome weekend. If you're watching on another day, have a really great week. As always, be happy, be healthy, and take care of yourselves. Thank you again, Jenny, and we'll see you all later.
Thanks,
Bye.
Rob.
Bye.
Join me next week as I interview Cara Ettinson of Funky Frog USA, a customized cancer care package company.